Our next guest is going to show us how to set a beautiful table for Easter. This is something that can impress your guests, and it does not have to be expensive, and it doesn't have to be difficult. Madeline Doolittle is here from Ceviche. She's the event planner, so this is her specialty, and she set up a beautiful table for us this morning. Kind of give me the finer points. When I'm doing this at home, the china itself, the dishes are pretty on their own, but then I don't know what to do with the center of the table. You know, how do you space it out if the table's big? So you can help us out.
Well, there's lots of ways that you can do it. Here we've created a kind of a spring table using some seasonal produce, baskets, and of course eggs, which are a symbol of spring.
And folks already have baskets in their house, but I don't think of putting a basket on the dining room table, and you put it inside a platter and just put artichokes in it.
Exactly, yeah. You want to create layers of texture and color. And investing in a few pieces like a basket or this pedestal bowl here really can be used for almost any table. You can just change out the filling depending on what time of year or what occasion, and you can basically, you know, keep the same idea going.
And I notice also that you have varied the height of all these things considerably.
Absolutely. You want to create different heights and points of visual interest using either things stacked or things of different heights. But you don't want to go too high, especially if you're setting in the middle of a table, because you want to be able to interact with your guests. So a good rule of thumb is pretty much the length of your forearm. If you kind of do that on the table, and yeah, this one's pushing
so this one's close, but
yes,
but
as long as you can see over it and interact with your guests, you of course wouldn't want to interfere with that.
But this is really neat. I never would have thought of putting a bowl of asparagus, and what is that? Just some
yeah, just some moss, or you could use Easter basket grass, or really any kind of filler that you have around the house.
Really pretty. Okay, now I want to ask you about these eggs that you brought, because you have done these. They're almost vintage-looking eggs with natural dyes.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you achieve, we're going to achieve this brown egg and this blue egg. You're going to be stunned when you hear how the blue egg was done. The brown egg is dyed with what?
I used coffee to dye that one for the kind of the goldish hue. Okay. And then this is actually purple cabbage that gave us that blue color.
Purple cabbage gave us the blue egg. So how does that work? You've got one over here you can show us.
I do, yes. So this is just a head of cabbage. Very easy. You can get it at the grocery store or have it around the house already. And all you want to do is chop it up, maybe about 2 cups, and put it in a saucepan, cover it with water, and then just boil it. It should only take about 10 minutes or until you see the pigment really starting to transfer to the liquid, and then you're done. All you have to do is strain out the solids, and you end up with a liquid that looks a lot like this. All you have to do at that point is add about a tablespoon of vinegar. It'll help the color adhere to the egg, and then you're pretty much done. We're just going to
drop it in there.
Yep.
Now I'm going to, while you're doing that, I'm going to show that this egg has a stripe on it. How do you create stripes or different designs?
The possibilities are endless, really. You can get creative. Here I've used just a rubber band wrapped around the egg before we put it into the dye to create a stripe pattern, but you could cover it with any fabric that has texture, or
like lace, something that will let some of the color through but not all of it.
Absolutely, and it'll create a pattern on the eggs as you're dyeing it.
I want to show you one more quick thing as we wrap up here, how she used just tiny little pots. You can find these things at the dollar store, and put names on eggs, a little bit of moss, as a place marker for your guests, and then letting the napkins fall off the table, just another way to keep it interesting. Thank you so much for some lovely ideas. I might try a few of these, and I think my children would love to dye the eggs with cabbage. Very good, thank you. And of course, if you'd like to dine at Ceviche, you can do that, or you can get in touch with her to find out about how she can set up a whole party in the private dining room for up to 75 people. She'll make the table look beautiful for you. There's the information for Ceviche on Bardstown Road. 473-8560 is their number.